Hi, Jack.
Good morning, Abdul.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
How do you feel this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. I've done my exercise this morning. I always get off to a good start when I do my exercise.
And what brings you in here today?
I wanted to talk with you about the a problem I've had for a long time with relationships.
Relationships important to you, so you want to improve your relationships and talking about something regarding your relationships.
Yes, I've been, I think, self-centered for really all my life, and even though I've worked on it from time to time, I tend to not be present for my family or my friends when I should be. I tend to focus on the job, the task, and stay busy, and then not do what I should do for friends and family.
You're living a busy life, so you want to have a space for friend and relationships.
Right, there's just always something else that I need to be doing right now. I need to do this, I need to do that. Constantly seems like running, which is, I'm also training to run in a marathon. So everything is go, go, go.
You want to reorganize your life, your schedule, daily life.
I would like to have that discipline to say, well, I'm going to allocate this amount of time to maybe even write a letter to someone that I've, or write an email to people that follows up and helps rebuild a relationship or just maintains a relationship. But that's one part of it. The other part of it is just in daily life when you meet someone, to be truly curious about them and interested in them and show that interest instead of just telling them, what did I do today?
And what makes you concerned about that?
Well, I don't think that a healthy person is a person that is not more balanced. I think that I think you have to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And when you're only focused on yourself, then that's just not good living.
You mentioned health, and how could health impact your daily life and your relationships?
Yeah,
What's
well,
the connection?
Yeah, I don't think health is just about diet and exercise. Like I say, I think it's your mind is influenced by that, and also, but in the area of spirit, then you say that's what I should be doing as a person, as someone that believes in God. I should be reaching out to other people and showing that loving spirit and being connected to them and feeling that connection, just feeling that every day.
Could you tell me more about your relationships and your family?
Well, for example, this week, or yesterday, I called my mother, who's 93 years old, and it just occurred to me, wow, I haven't talked to her probably in 2 or 3 weeks. And she lives 10 miles away, haven't gone to see her, but to not even call her in 3 weeks. And now, granted, she has my brother and sister that come by frequently, and they live close to her, and she goes to church and has friends and family, friends, in particular friends there close by as well. But still, there's no excuse for me to not call her. And so here in a rush, I called her in the car when I could only talk a few minutes, and then sure enough, I ended up needing to end the conversation pretty quickly. And so I felt badly about that. But that's not the only example of it. I mean, even with my brother, we've been very close, but we kind of almost had a falling out a few months ago. And I don't think I've been, I don't know, I've not been willing or didn't stop and say, well, I should go back and try to heal that relationship.
Hmm. So you regret about your like being late from connecting with your family members, your mom, your brothers, and you have no you see that there is no excuse for no connection or like being late connection with them.
Yeah, well, I could give the excuse that they say my psychologist over at the Veterans Administration has talked, and we've discussed many times about how some of us that have PTSD syndrome from back in the war days, we don't have the feeling, we don't have the sense of feeling. We feel a little bit numb toward the world sometimes. And I think that's was an accurate thing about me, is that maybe I didn't have that strength of feeling for all these many years. And, it can get quite emotional when you realize that how you've not been the kind of person that you would expect, whether it's a father or a grandfather or even a husband. There's none of us are perfect. But, I feel like I've certainly missed the mark on a lot of relationship over the years. I've been too focused on work, too focused on getting the job done, making money. Making money drove me like crazy. That's what I tried to do so very hard for the first 40 years of my career.
Mm-hmm. So 45 years in your career keeps you away from your family and relationship to improve it and develop it and being with them.
Well, actually, I guess I misspoke there, because it was for about 30 years that took me, I think, about 30 years to become a multimillionaire, and then had the disaster, and partly because of these issues that I have, that I didn't handle the situation well, and ran into a buzzsaw and was just attacked and maliciously prosecuted, and ended up losing all the money I'd accumulated. So now I've had 10 years since then to try to refocus and retrain, and I've made some progress as far as much of that goes. I'm no longer hell-bent on becoming a multi-millionaire again. I would like to get back to a career where I can earn a decent living, but help people while I'm there and have that connection and be involved and be the kind of person that is what other people would say, wow, he's really a good friend, he's a good person, he is willing to help.
Mm-hmm. You try to heal improve the relationships with people who are around you.
I have tried, and I have many good friends. I have church friends, and people in the community, neighbors, and a lot of good friends. But then I'm apt to kind of, in a sense, forget about them if I don't. Here I run into somebody I haven't seen for 5 years, and say, "Wow, this is one of my, my best friends ever." And here, because we got split, and then I've not made the effort to stay in touch,
Mm-hmm.
or to even, reach out with a phone call or a text or anything. And here you run into him, and you get that spring of joy in your heart to say, well, hey, here's somebody that I really connected with and liked.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's a sadness there that I've let 5 years go by without even having a connection with them.
Mm-hmm. I hear relationship is very important to you. And what a perfect relationship look like?
What would a perfect?
Yes, perfect relationship look like.
Well, wow, perfect. I don't know. I know that as far as in my religion, I know that I want to make sure that I've accepted and had the Spirit in my heart, and then I want that Spirit to leap out and to shine on other people and connect with other people. And so I think that would be the perfect situation, is where I was just constantly reflecting out the joy and peace of God to other people. And that they could feel that within me, and they could see me coming and know that, oh, there's something really nice here happening. This being around this person is uplifting.
So religion is positively affects like relationship and your life
Absolutely.
in
yes.
general.
Mhm.
How is that working for you?
Well, I think it's one of those things where you say, well, I go to church on Sunday, and I do pretty well there among church people that I know well, and we discuss things, and but then there's that danger there too, that you're in the mode while you're there in the church, but you walk out the door, and then all through the week, are you still practicing in being that kind of person? I arrived to church early. I'm always there 30 minutes early, because that gives me the chance to go around and see people I know, and then welcome people I don't know. And I feel like that I am, I think that's helping me with this habit that I'm wanting to develop. But it's in a fixed situation where, yeah, I'm there in a building, they're all there to worship, and so I think in many ways that's so much easier than it is to take that out to the neighbor next door when you see the neighbor next door, and to be able to listen to that person and let them feel that reflection. And, I want to reflect what they say back to God, and God back to them. In a sense, I just want to be a transporter of goodness.
I feel you feel comfortable being around people in church and visiting church every Sunday. Religion affect relationship in positive ways. Tell me more about that.
Okay. We have a good church. We have good pastors, and the pastor is a good friend. That's something that has I've noticed the change in the past. More than 10 years ago, I would have a pastor that, I listened to him preach, and evaluate, did he do a good job of preaching, that kind of thing. Shake his hand on the way out the door and that type of thing, but never really thought of him as being a friend. And I think now I have been able to do better with that, where I can, the pastors are my friends, and I see them not just on Sunday, and we went to a beach retreat. We met this man, and we were down, I'm not saying we got drunk or anything, but if some of us wanted to drink a beer, well, fine. There was people around. The pastor, maybe shouldn't make it public, but yeah, he had a beer, a glass of wine, and different things that. But he was just a normal human being to us, and we all liked him, and we all. So yeah, I think I've got relationships going there, and when my wife and I went through that horrible experience of being maliciously prosecuted, we ended up borrowing money from people there at church, and because they did love us so much that they were willing to loan us substantial amounts of money that we've not been able to totally repay, and they say they're not looking for repayment because they consider it something that was a gift. So there's some very strong relations there, but do I follow up with it outside of church?
I feel you are ready to make a change in your life and improving your relationships with family, with other people.
Yes, I am.
And how would you plan ahead for changing your life and your relationship?
I think I've got to focus on it outside of the church. I think I've got to do it. I think I've got to have a time every day that I focus on it, but then also be very aware when I meet other people. Jack,
thank you so much for coming in today, but because of the time, I'm looking forward to see you soon and having more chances to talk together about your concern.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Abdul.